Trinesha, Catrell.
Hi, this is Trinesha Catrell, and welcome to First Love Yourself, where love, life, and Christ combine. I am so grateful to have you here on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment with me. In today's video, we're going to talk about choices. But before we get started, if you're new here, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on more uplifting and empowering content like this. So get comfortable because we are about to get into it. Let's go. So earlier today, I was listening to this sermon by Pastor Darius McClure, and he was talking about choosing. He said, I'm looking for a reason is the title of his message. And it really made me think about choices that we make in life. And he was saying how he talked about the Israelites in Egypt and how Moses had gotten them out of Egypt and he couldn't be the person that continued. They had to choose whether they were going to be living in the past or go towards the future. And it really made me think about the choices we make in life and how, as he talked about his sermon, and I'm reiterating a lot of his things, which is why I'm giving him, his jewels, his flowers, everything else to make sure that you don't get this mixed up and think that this is all me. This is usually the messages on these videos is a accumulation of the things that I've learned and the things that I know or I've learned throughout the day or throughout this journey in my single seasons, in my season of my relationship with God, so on and so forth. And so as I'm listening to this sermon, he starts to talk about how sometimes God wants us to move on past something that we used to use in the past to get over things. Like we might have had an ex in the past that we were with and we're like trying to stay in that season to be with that same person, to do it in the exact same way that we did it before. We're going into a new season and we can't understand why you're still acting like the old person. We have these other opportunities and we think God's going to do it the same way that he did it in the past. And God is saying that worked in that season as I was healing you from that one thing. But in this new season, I need you to choose differently. I need you to do things differently. And sometimes we don't want to. If you're like me, you get a little stubborn and you're like, well, it worked last time. Why isn't it working this time? Well, God did it this way before. Why can't he do it this way again? I really want to be able to do it this way because I saw the fruition of everything. I saw the fruit from the labor in this season this way. Why can't it happen like that again? And God is saying, I'm doing a new thing. The thing that I'm trying to do in your life is not going to look like the old thing. And I really had to think to myself, would I rather have this life or this life? Would I rather go backwards and be the person that I used to be, or would I rather go forwards and live a life being obedient to God? And I, I'm gonna have to be super transparent and just tell you that as God is working on me, I really want to be the type of woman who allows people a space to feel safe and seen. And God has been like really weighing heavy on me to make sure that my heart posture is in the right place, that I'm coming from it with good intentions, and I'm not just doing it to be self-seeking or to be serving myself, but I'm doing it because I really want to help other people. And there's some situations where I'm like, I start helping someone or I start being like have a servant's heart and cheerful and joyful and all the things, and the next thing you know I get caught up in selfishness along the way. Like I start serving and helping out this person and then I'm like, oh well, I want all of these things, and it's like, and by the time I realize that I'm being selfish, it's too late. The other person has seen me be super selfish. I just have taken for granted every opportunity, everything that I should have really relished in and really had it in the right way. And it's nothing wrong with wanting things, but don't lose focus on what your mission is or what your purpose or the reason why God wants you to help someone is. Like I did really well this week with some of the choices that I needed to make. Some choices I didn't do so well, but for the most part I did good. And I went to God no matter what was happening to me. So that's good. I didn't just turn to something else. And I could feel my spirit get a little low this week because I was struggling with some things with letting go of some people that I had to let go of. And I'm like, God, but I don't want to let them go. But I really like all of these things about this person, but they're such a good friend, but they're this, but they're, and it's so funny how we can try to tell God what we need to do in our lives. Like we are God and we could never be God. So it's just, it's ironic. It's hilarious. It's a joke. If you really think that you could really be on the same level that God is. Like humility and being able to really have a good heart posture and be obedient is one of the highest forms of worship that you could possibly have, because obedience shows that no matter what's going on, you will always be ready to serve in whatever field God wants to put you in. And for me, I want to make sure that while God is preparing me to be somebody's wife, and I said that, yes, and I'm not going to renege on it in this season. But while God is preparing me, I want to make sure that I take gentle care of the person that God blesses me with. Any person that's a friend that I'm talking to, that I date, that I am engaged to, that I'm married, I want to make sure that I am treating them the way that God intended for me to treat them. And I'm not being completely selfish, that I'm really giving them a space to feel safe and seen, that I'm not just there thinking about all the things that I can get from something like going on a vacation or just having somebody that I can talk to. I want to be the person that that person can talk to as well. I want to make sure that I'm being calm. Like it's just this calm, just content, just this really, really joyful. I can't think of another word besides calm, but it's just, I want to give off the feeling of like this soft, calm environment that's not just hectic or toxic or ugh, just icky. I want it to be something that is mellow, that I can exemplify the love that God has given me, that I can really be the type of person who is not judging someone, but making an observation, that is holding people accountable, but not just making them feel badly or trying to point out everything wrong. I want to be the type of person who goes for the things that I want, but I don't compromise my integrity to do that. Like, I don't want to feel like I have to say I'm okay with something I'm not okay with just to make somebody else comfortable. And I also don't want to try to make someone something that they're not. I know this video is all over the place. I got to go soon, but I may hop back on later because I might not be on here tomorrow or Saturday because I I got some stuff that I have to do after work tomorrow, so it's gonna be a full packed day, and I might not get back until later, like around 10, and so that's gonna be a little too late to be hopping on here. And then Saturdays, I'm usually not on, but Sundays I'm usually here. So I'll probably do a video maybe tonight if it's not too late, and then probably on Sunday. So I know this video was all over the place. I hope that it helps someone. And when God is telling you to do something, just listen and obey. You might not understand the reason why he's telling you to stop this place or do this thing, but you don't know whose life you blessed. And I know for me, I'm always thinking, well, I wish I would have said this. I wish I would have done this as well. I wish I would have done all of these things. But if you did the best that you could in that situation, then you did great. And in the future, you could take it and learn how to do better. And, if the instance comes up again or something else. I don't know. It's the focus, man. It's all over the place. But I may be back later on to do part 2 or redo this Would You Rather, because I think it's important for us to make choices that are going to reflect our life in the best way. And sometimes it doesn't always look like what we want to do 24/7. It looks like what God wants us to do most of the times. Like all the time is what I should say. All the time it looks like us doing what God wants us to do. Because when we're obedient, you don't know whose life you're blessing. You don't know who you're helping. And it might not make sense to you to stop, to do these things, to go places, to be around certain people or have certain people in your life, or God tells you to forgive somebody. But you can't have hate and forgiveness in your heart. You can't have love and hate live in the same place. You have to make sure that you are really helping people from a servant's heart and not just because you want something out of the situation. So I might be back later, but have a good night, and I will see you guys Sunday if I'm not on here later. Bye.